This is the third year that's going to be very slow. We're like operating at what, 60% of where we should be transaction wise. And this year is going to be the same, right? Maybe even slower. I don't know because of the tariffs.
What
Yes.
have you been up to? Are
What are
you
you
building
doing?
something? Are you working on something new? Like what's going on in your life?
Oh my God. I've taken a hiatus from social media, just from the real estate perspective. And I know it makes no sense to you guys, especially, but, in the last probably 6 to 12 months, there's a lot of audience capture. So in other words, if you see your favorite content creators, everybody's just kind of, not everybody, but a lot of them are just kind of falling prey to what the audience wants to hear. So a lot of the negative stuff. So I basically wanted to detach because if you're bringing something objective to the market, it's just not received well, right? Because everybody just expects more nonsense. So that's been the biggest change. I still like, I'll do my market stats on YouTube once a month. I'll do interviews with people. I did one with Darryl recently, which is going to go live next week.
Oh, nice. Next
But
week.
yeah, so that's where
Cool.
I'm at. Social media has been tough. I mean, it used to be a great place to kind of sniff out, trends and things, but you can't rely on it, and it's just way too much audience capture across the board. That's just my take anyway.
There's a different type of stench right now in social media. Not
Look, things are not good. Things are not good, right? But they're not
mm,
like it's not like doom and gloom. Like things are still moving. Obviously, it's slow. This is the third year that's going to be very slow. We're like operating at what, 60% of where we should be transaction wise. And this year is going to be the same, right? Maybe even slower. I don't know because of the tariffs. But we can't just constantly post about, okay, it's a crash, it's this. It's just, I don't know. It's tiring. It's tiring for me personally. So I can't participate. So for me, it's just better to detach and let somebody else handle that. And you
Well,
can't consume it either.
the title for this episode I had worst market ever. So
Which is perfect. It's recycled from 4 weeks ago,
that's right. Or
which is
even last week, right?
and 8 weeks ago
Crash
and
coming.
23 weeks ago.
but to be fair, that title would be appropriate today, I think.
They're
To
always
be
Eventually.
fair,
appropriate from a perspective, right? But we
I
do
think it's
play the
appropriate.
old reel them in, and well,
Yeah.
sometimes we keep them here too.
So you know how I am very data driven and I talk about seasonal trends. And if you look at seasonal trends in the last 20 years, despite whether it's financial crisis, COVID, whatever, we always have a spring market. Always. It does maybe sometimes it starts early, sometimes it starts late, but we always have a spring market, even in a bad economy, even if things are not good. This is the first time I have seen, based on the data, where obviously February was really rough and I don't know, March is it's hard to say right now how it's going to pan out. But this is the first time I've seen the spring market get affected this much. And it's entirely because of what's happening in the States, right? The tariffs, especially, and all that talk. So it's actually been crazy. This is the first time in 20 years, at least as far as the data tells us, that we really have had a big miss in the spring market. Now, I still feel that cautiously optimistic. We might have a spring market. It just may start, I don't know, it might start in April. I don't know. I think we'll still see something,
I think it's over.
but
I think we
you
had
think
it
it's
in Jan
over?
based
What?
on based on
No.
our data, which is,
Oh my
very
God.
just like, what we are experiencing, is it happened in January. There was two
Wow.
weeks
Okay,
in
that's
January.
big.
There was 2 weeks in January where the showings were crazy, the offers were crazy, things were intense, and it happened last year around the same time, and things fizzled out. And I'm thinking this year, yeah, we'll just have like a really boring spring market. It'll probably slow down even more in the summer. Like, I mean, how is it going to pick up? Like, where are all those buyers all of a sudden going to come from? And there's just more
Okay.
and more sellers just listing. Like, they're just
Wow.
trying to get rid of their properties. So,
Well,
anyways, that's my 2 cents.
well, but think
Um,
about it. I mean, why, unless you absolutely had to, or like the dream house that you've been watching for eternity comes up on the market, like
mm,
why? Why not?
mhm.
If you can wait a couple months to kind of just get a little more certainty or clarity on what the hell's going on out there, why the
So
hell wouldn't you?
So I'll give you some. So I mean, listen, you actually could be right, and I hope you're not. And I mean, again, I think it's too premature to call it over just yet. But speaking, okay,
Today's the
so
first day of spring, especially. Yeah.
right, exactly. And people's moods are improving. March breaks over, but my first sale this year was the second or third week of January. Semi spoke to the people in November before we listed. I told them the range was 950 to $1 million, right? And sure enough, January comes. I didn't want to list in January, but they had already bought, so we had to list. It was just kind of like what Darryl said. They found the perfect place. So it's like, we're ready to go. We don't care. We found the perfect place. We're fine. We're listing. It doesn't matter. So I told them 950 to $1 million. Off we go. We do everything to prep the house over the Christmas holidays. Everything's good. We list. I'm the guy a lot of people hate, but this is coming from talking to a lot of agents that move a lot of units. And even in today's environment, for most properties, it's still beneficial to run an offer night to gather intel. Because one of the worst things you can kind of do right now is list, because there's so much price uncertainty in terms of where you should be pricing things because of what's happening, right? So it's still good to run an offer night just to see. You may not sell on that offer night, like 80% you may not, because the offers may not come in where they're supposed to, but it's still, you kind of get an idea of what the feedback is, where people are, where the offers are landing. So this property, 48 showings, open house was slammed. It was winter time. We ended up with 10 offers. We sold at 961. And a lot of the offers were pretty close. So we were on the low range of the 950 to a million, but we were in the range. So we sold. Since then, I've had multiple other offer nights on other listings, and they happened, when the Trump stuff started picking up tractions, and it's been one flop after another. In fact, I have an offer night tonight on a
What is it?
property. It's a detached in Markham. Nice house, turnkey. It's, original owner. Beautiful house, beautiful lot. Shows very well. This one I think will sell. I think this one will be similar to the one I told you about earlier, where we're tight on the range. But here's the thing. So the range on this house, when I originally spoke to them, was in the 145 to 1.5. I don't think we're gonna get in that range today. And this was the range we spoke about during the Christmas holidays. So now that we're listed, and now that we've seen the comps coming out in the neighborhood and what's sold in the last 30 days, everything is selling well below where they should be this spring. People are taking haircuts, and I think sellers are capitulating. So I think we're going to sell. I think we're going to end up with 5 or 6 offers, and I already had 2 preemptives or 2 bully offers. So I think it will be fine, but I don't think we're going to hit the range. I think we're going to be a little bit below, but these people, I don't think they're looking to squeeze out every single penny out of it. So we'll see. I don't know, but that's where things are at right now as we speak this Thursday.
Are you looking for the best merch store on the planet? Well, we got the shit for you. Coming in at low prices where we barely make any money off of whatsoever, you can get the greatest real estate merchandise on this platform. Just look at this very flamboyant man putting on this great stuff. He looks great, he's dancing great, and boy does he look sexy in that merchandise. I tell you, buy this for anybody, you buy this for yourself. You will be not only repping the greatest Canadian real estate podcast in this world, but you will also be looking hella good doing it.